Good morning, students and viewers. Welcome to our podcast, Education Unfiltered, being hosted by Freely Ogle
and Chloe Fletcher.
Our podcast is about the perspective of students and how the adults in their lives help guide their future careers and after-school goals. Today's episode is called Adult Views, and we will be interviewing
Miss Conti and Miss Bateman. Braylee and I are here today for a client project about how adults in our lives guide students to after-school goals. Our first question today is, how do you bring real-world learning or career connections into classroom conversations with students?
So I'm very excited to be here today, by the way. I have loved this year being able to start client-connected projects and do those in freshman focus. And I feel like you guys have been able to connect with some of the coolest people and what they do every day, right? But also at the same time, grow your skills and dispositions and have a moment to truly do that in an authentic way instead of a made-up way that we're doing an activity in the room, right? So that's just been my favorite thing. I also teach a college prep class you should take someday, and I'm very mock seniors. So yeah, and we do like mock interviews and things like that. So it is a lot in the classroom, but it's very hands-on.
Is that offered for all students?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, it is. You should take it.
Miss Conti, how would you say you bring real-world learning or career connections into classroom conversations?
Well, I think the biggest thing is connecting things that you're already passionate about or interested in, and then helping bring that into the classroom so that you can see a purpose in what you're doing in the classroom and trying to connect it in a way that matters to you.
That's good. And following with that, can you share an example of a time when your guidance has helped a student connect classroom content to future goals?
So a lot of times as a counselor, we're talking about life in general, and then that leads to things they're passionate about or interested in. And so one of my favorite things is helping, bring up different ideas they may not have thought about as careers, or if they're already pretty set on a career, then helping connect them to someone else in our community to either talk through in an interview just to learn more about what that person likes or doesn't like about their job, or even a job shadow, or eventually maybe an internship where they're spending longer amounts of time in that job.
I think that's really cool because, students I feel like we're supposed to be very set on what we want to do, and so offering different options.
And I feel like GoCaps is a good option too that most kids use.
Yeah, and one of my favorite things about it is in high school, you're figuring it out. So maybe you know what you want to do and you stick with that, and that's great. But maybe you try something and realize that wasn't quite what you thought. And so I have lots of stories of students through GoCaps or other programs where maybe they thought they wanted to do something with medical, then they got into it and the sight of blood just made them feel really sick and they couldn't get past it. And they learned that that's not what they wanted to do. Or someone else who thought they wanted a job in an office and then they realized really they want to be doing stuff with their hands. So sometimes it's about learning what you don't like just as much as what you do.
Yeah, that's a great point. Can you share an example? Yes,
okay, awesome.
Please.
So for me, I really try to bring in a lot of people from the outside into my classroom area. And so I've been able to witness students in mock interviews treat it as a real interview and get hired that day. So that's been very, very cool. Yeah, and it's always first something that they really want to pursue in the future. Obviously, it's a lower level position, but it's something that will lead them to that. And so that's been really cool to watch. Also, the job shadowing opportunities for students, that's very, very, very important to do. Not only just in GoCaps, but just in general, right? And so I think that those have been the biggest things. On top of that, A+ tutoring, like we want people to pursue education if they would be a great educator. So when people are tutoring, they are getting that opportunity to see what a real classroom is like, and maybe they discover a passion for teaching kids, right? And that happens all the time through A+ tutoring. So yeah, all of those. This is what I live for. So
I don't know about other schools, but I feel very privileged in our school that we have like this many opportunities to just like experience what like after school would be like.
Yeah. I mean, look at you guys today with client connected projects. You're meeting all these cool people, right? You're seeing what this would be like. You're talking about how this is actually kind of fun. I might want to do this. So yeah, I just think it's so cool to watch you guys.
Okay, well, our next question would be, what barriers prevent teachers from providing real-world learning experiences for students?
Yeah, I think sometimes it's that we get in our own head, right? When the client connected projects opportunity was given to me to pursue that and figure out what that might look like, I really jumped at it, but I feel like that can be scary for a lot of people, you know? Yeah. So I don't even know if there's really that many barriers with it outside of that. I think it's mostly because we have a great school district that tries to push us to be innovative in our way, but sometimes people just get stuck, right? They just are, this is the curriculum, and how am I supposed to be able to teach this and give these opportunities? So I think it just comes down to that. But I don't know what.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. It's just a different way of thinking about teaching, because for so long it was done in one way, and there was a lot of good things about that. But I think we want students to always be growing and developing, and so we want to bring that into teaching as well, and everything we're doing in school to continue developing that. And part of it is starting to connect these real world experiences with the things that you're learning in classes. But it's hard, it's hard for you guys to grow and try something new, maybe a little bit scary, and it's the same way for teachers. And so I think that's the hardest thing.
When students come to you, maybe they're conflicted on what they want to do afterwards, is that something that you think they struggle with? Have you noticed that?
Not knowing what they want to do after high school?
Yeah, or just feeling stuck, being told that they're supposed to go down one path.
Yeah, definitely. It can look a lot of different ways. It might be that their parents have a certain plan or idea, and so they're trying to figure out, is that something that I want to pursue? And so we always talk through, let's give it a try. Let's see what it could be like. Or it may be that they just haven't seen all the options that are out there. And so I like to do a lot of different career interest inventories to use as a tool. So they don't tell students, you have to be this because you answered this way on questions, but it just brings up ideas. Maybe it's something that you had never thought about before. So I like using those too, and encouraging to keep an open mind about all the options.
Yeah. Do you think that the relationships in the classroom discuss support students' understandings of beyond school, outside of school?
That the relationships they make in the classroom help them?
And with their job shadowing opportunities that they might have inside of school.
Yeah, I think just like we talk about, being in school is learning the skills that you need for outside, and a part of that is learning how to have healthy relationships with peers, but also with a supervisor someday. And so a teacher's kind of in that role, so learning how to be with a teacher whose teaching style you really connect with, or maybe one that you don't. Well, that might be your situation in a job someday, where your boss is someone that has parts you like, parts you don't like. And so learning how to handle those situations, and then you take all of that into a job shadow experience or into your future job.
Yeah, I think those moments are where you grow your grit, right? We talk about that a lot. And so I feel like that's where you get that. Life isn't always going to be the way you thought in your head, right? And so I also think that it can bring great things by just giving you networking opportunities, right? So meeting all of these different people and knowing that those things are out there. And I think that's so important, to be able to network with people and be professional, right? To learn what professionalism is when you're young like this. I wish that I could have been able to network and know people and pursue different things. I really wish I would have had that whenever I was your age, right? But yeah, anyways.
Yeah, and we're definitely honored to have the opportunities we have.
Makes me feel so honored.
Yeah.
I guess our next question would be, how do you reinforce the value skills learned in your classroom as preparation for the workforce?
Yeah, so I think for me, mock interviews, we do a very, very small version of that in Freshman Focus. And then we do that in college prep with actual business leaders and people from our community that truly hire people all the time. So I feel like in those settings, that's when they start to feel the pressure, like the nervousness. And that's more like real reality, right? When you go to a job interview, you're going to feel nervous. You're going to feel those feelings. So I do try to replicate that in some way, right? Just so that they can feel that, hey, I could push through. I could still be professional. I could stumble over my words, laugh about it, and still have a great conversation with that person. They get to see a real life moment, right? And then when you guys go job shadow or you do things like this, you're getting even more of those moments. It's kind of like a little interview every time you're meeting these people, because they're going to remember you, right? They might be someone that you work for someday.
I definitely,
fun.
I think about, what comes after school, and I think a lot about like the research I'll need or the education, but a big part of that's also just confidence or being mentally prepared. So I think it's really good that you two both focus a lot on that.
Yeah, they say 90% of professionalism is confidence, right? So just lead with confidence. That was great. Great point.
How do you reinforce the values of skills that was learned in your classroom as preparation for the workforce?
So I feel like in Freshman Focus, right, that's our entire curriculum is the skills and dispositions that we have, right? And so it just goes back to what we were just talking about, but I really want to reiterate that that entire class is built upon the skills and dispositions that you need to succeed. And so you guys are building those right now. Look at you go.
Thank you so much for coming in today.
Yes.
I'm so happy you guys could make it.
Thanks
for inviting us.
We've learned a lot about your guys' perspectives and, kind of like what that means to us. So we really do appreciate it.
Not just us, like other people in our school and our community. So thank you so
girls
much.
for having me. I'm proud of you.
Thank you.
Yes.
Students, we hope that this is something you can relate to. And viewers, we hope you can take away something from this. That is the end for this episode. We will see you next time, and thank you for watching.